to Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show!
What up? What up? Wholesale Hotline. It is the last show of the year, and unfortunately, we are missing our brother Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP. My name is Pace Morby, and I am the creative finance portion of this. Actually, I'm not the creative finance portion of this because I don't talk about creative finance on here. I'm the closer. I'm the guy that talks about closing sellers, and Jamil Damji is the number one, undisputed champion of wholesaling nationwide. He does more wholesale deals than anybody I know. And this is Jamil Damji to my right, probably your guys' left. And today we are going to be doing general Q&A. We're going to be talking about general Q&A. So welcome, guys, to Wholesale Hotline. You can find us on Brent Daniels' YouTube, Jamil Damji's YouTube, and my YouTube, youtube.com/Pace Morby. Today, let's do some Q&A. Brother, I was thinking about this. Laura and I were driving from, I know you're in Utah. You're in Park City enjoying time with your family.
Yes, sir.
My wife and I were driving up from Portland to Seattle just to enjoy some food. And I was thinking, I asked her, I go, what do you think are the most common questions regarding wholesaling real estate? Like if I'm brand new, what are the top like 3, 4, 5 questions? Do you have anything that like pops up on the top of your head? What are the questions you get in your DMs the most frequent? You and I can start off by our own question. And then once we answer our own questions, we'll look at the side chat and see what kind of Q&A we got today.
Well, I think one of the most common one, and first and foremost, hi, Pace. How are you,
Hi.
bro? I missed you, man.
Miss you
It's
too.
interesting when we leave town and we go do our things for Christmas. You disconnect from your kind of real world life and go travel, do whatever it is, and it's fun. But man, oh man, I'm glad to be back here in Wholesale Hotline, number 97, bro. 97. We've done this show 97 times. Isn't that crazy?
What's crazy is how consistent we are, bro.
Love it. I mean, guys, if you guys appreciate the 97 episodes of Wholesale Hotline, give us a like. Awesome. Love you, bro. Good to see you. So one of the number one questions that I get is once I get a seller interested, what do I do next?
That's such a good question. I wonder if that's coming from like, have I spoken to the seller yet? Or I'm so afraid of talking to the seller because I don't know what to do. If the seller says yes, I don't know what to do. So I literally just won't call any seller because what do I do next? Is that where that question comes from?
I'm 100% sure that's where that question comes from.
Okay,
they're asking what's step 2? If I do step 1, what's step 2?
Okay, so step 1, let's be clear on what the step 1 is. Step 1 is reach out to a motivated seller, right? And the way you reach out to a motivated seller is cold call, texting, one of those ways. You're reaching out to the seller of a distressed property. Right. Let's say the seller says, yes, I am interested in a cash offer. What do I do next? Is that the question?
Correct. What do I do next?
I love this question because there's nobody better to answer this than me. And I'll tell you why. Because I did it the best possible way. The best possible way. It's duplicatable. The way I did it is so easy to duplicate. Here's what I did. I found somebody who was part of Keegley, and I said, I don't know what to offer for this house. I literally don't know what to offer for this house. I have no experience in doing this. Can you please tell me what I need to offer for this house? That was step 2 for me. It was making sure I knew what the value of the property was. Actually, you know what's funny is that I reached out to you because we had become friendly with each other.
Yep.
I reached out to you, but I didn't even need to know the value of the house. I needed to know what to pay for the house.
Right.
And so what happened is through a text message, guys, this is the literal answer. I find a lady, her name's Janie, by the way. And you know the story. It's the story of the bunnies. So Janie says, sure, come on over and look at the house and give me an offer. I go, okay. So what I do is I text you and I go, I got a live one. I got a live one. And you told me what I could pay for that property. You said you can pay up to this number if it's in good condition. And that's all I needed to know. And then I went on the appointment. I spoke to the seller and I told the seller, I said, well, why haven't you sold it yet? If you've been talking to other real estate investors, why haven't you sold it? Have you not gotten the number you're looking for? Or are people not willing to accommodate your timeline? What is the main situation? Catch me up to speed. Okay. Catch me up to speed is a line that you'll hear a lot of people use. It's a line I coined in this game, but it's the question I always ask sellers. It came from my construction days, actually. Okay. So I'd say, catch me up to speed. Where are we at? Where do we stand? What's going on? Why haven't you sold the house? If you've been talking to other investors like me, I'm sure you've been getting offers. What's going on? And Janie told me she had an offer at 265. And the number that you gave me, Jamil, was 250.
15,000 less.
I couldn't go over 250. So that's two. Step one is get a hold of a seller that is interested in selling at a discount. Step two is knowing your price by communicating and squatting up with somebody that knows what the heck they're doing, because this business is all about leverage. Who can you leverage, right? What relationship can you leverage? I had a situation today where one of my transaction coordinators told me a title company told us we have to wait another week for a title commitment or for a title search. And I go, wow. Call a different title company.
Wow.
Right?
We can get that in 24 hours.
The answer, right? So I'm going to tell you right now, and Jamil needs to give this to you guys. I would reach out to somebody in my local area that is either part of Keegley, because I think they're in like 90 markets at this point. Find somebody that is part of Keegley, or find an Astro flipping student, or find a sub 2 student and say, I need your help. So I know what to offer this lady. Now, to finish that story real quick, I want to hear your side of the story and I want to hear your advice. I told Janie I couldn't help her, and I never actually told her my price. I said, Janie, I'm sorry, I can't help you on the price, and I have a great day. And as I'm walking out the door, I turned around and I said, hey, Janie, is there anything else you need help with? I know you're moving to Oregon to be with family and you're retiring and all that stuff. Is there anything else you need help with? And a lot of people know this story. She said, yeah, I've got these bunnies, these Cadbury egg bunnies, these like freaking size of a motorcycle bunnies. I need to rehome these things. So I went in the backyard. Long story short, I had my mom help her rehome her bunnies so she could move. Janie calls me a week later and she says, I want to sell my house to you. And I said, Janie, I told you, somebody offered way more than I can pay. I'm sorry, I can't help you, but hopefully everything's going well with the move. And she said, well, it will be once you buy my house from me. I go, Janie, I can't buy your house. And she says, no, what you're not listening to is that I will sell the house at whatever you're willing to pay me. I want to sell my house to you. I trust you. So I bought the house. I actually ended up paying $250 for the house. Jamil actually went and sold it for like $290. I made $25,000 on my first freaking deal. What's funny, guys? I didn't even know what an assignment contract was. I didn't even know what an assignment was.
That's just it. It's that you took the next step that you knew what to do, and you didn't worry about the rest. You just knew that you had support.
Yeah, I literally just had somebody holding me by the hand and walking me through that path, right? And so that's what I would do. To answer that question one more time, if I get a hold of a seller and they say, yes, come over and give me an offer, what do I do next? The answer, very short form, find somebody that can help you get an answer that will help you get all the way through the transaction, because they're going to help you not only with step 2, it's step 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way until cashing a check. That you guys actually, the first assignment contract I ever signed was one you guys created. I never had to go download one or anything. It came from Keegley. So, would you do anything different? Would you answer that question any differently?
No, absolutely not. In fact, my answer would be figure out what you can pay. Understand the number. Know the number. And I think that's where people get stuck. So they know that, look, I got to make phone calls. I got to knock doors. I've got to text people. I've got to network with agents. I've got to go to networking events. I have to get to know people. I've got to have conversations. They know the things they've got to do. But what stops a lot of people is, okay, so then I've got something in my hands. I've got a live ball, but I don't know what to do with the live ball, and I'm scared. I'm scared I'm going to actually run this all the way home.
Yeah, I love it. So Carlos Torres says, where can I find a friend like Jamil? I'll tell you where. Right here in the comments in Wholesale Hotline.
There you go.
Here's the thing is that you guys need to understand is that I was messaging at the beginning of this saying, hey, if you guys are in the Facebook groups, a lot of times you'll get Facebook groups. Like right now, you'll see, I can look at my own Facebook group. My Facebook group has 24 people watching it. Meanwhile, the combined YouTube is like well over 300. So guys, migrate over to YouTube. There's 3 YouTube channels currently being streamed. Migrate away from Facebook and come over to YouTube. And the reason being is because you guys should be coming into Wholesale Hotline to squad up and find people in the comments. Find people with different levels of experience and different desires. And you'll find people that, like, we've had so many amazing stories where people will find each other in the comments and find out that they're actually like neighbors. Like they live 3-4 houses away from each other and they go and do a deal together. So you find people in the comments and then you squad up. And then what you do is, in terms of squatting up, is you guys hold each other accountable, meet every couple of months, meet every couple of weeks, every couple of days, depending on the relationship and, you know, your availability, all that kind of stuff. And then create some content together. Jamil and I were like, let's start a podcast 2 years ago. That was 2 years ago that we said, let's start a podcast. And here we are on episode 97.
97. Woo!
97. So create content, work with each other, get deals with each other. A lot of people in Texas. So this is really good. Interesting. Isaiah Navarez. Let's talk about this for a second, because you know we're about to announce the winner of this.
Yes, sir.
Jamil, are you guys going to offer 10-time entry if we purchase the $47 Flip Me upgrade when you announce the winners? The answer is, Isaiah, I'm so sorry, brother. We are the very few people that when we say something's going to end, or we're going to close something, or hey, there's limited availability, we are the very few people that we actually mean it. And that Flip Me challenge was we stopped making that available a month ago. And we went through, we had, do you know how many entries we had on that, Jamil?
Nope.
Do you want to know?
Yes.
We had 17,000 people.
Wow.
Enter. What's cool is the amount of money the winner will make is the equivalent of about $4,000 to $5,000 per inch. No, what is that? 17,000. Anyway, whatever it is, we hope that the profitability on the flip that somebody wins is going to be a triple-digit flip.
Yep.
And the announcement, we're going to announce that winner right here on Wholesale Hotline. We're going to announce that winner on January 17th. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So January 17th, guys, the winner of the Flip Me challenge that we put together a couple of months ago is going to win. And here's what they're winning. They're winning a partnership with Jamil, myself, Laura, my wife, and Rahima, the stars of Triple Digit Flip. They're going to fly out to Arizona, spend a day with us. They're going to visit the project, and they get to be our partner, and they take all the profits, not half of the profits, 100% of the profits of one of our fix and flips. And that's what you win for literally entering into the giveaway. So that ended about a month ago, and I'm sorry there are no more entries to get into that. I'm really, really sorry. I feel bad. But I also like don't ever want to be one of those people that go, hey, this is limited availability, and then it's not, and it's just like you're playing games with people, you know.
But hey, it's not fair. But at the same time, the people who did take action, there is a winner. There is a winner.
There you go. Jamil, you want to answer this one for us?
Absolutely. Justin Bird asked, once I get a home under contract, do I send it to my attorney or wait for an end buyer and send the purchase agreement and assignment to my attorney or title company? Great question, Justin. So here's one thing that I would love people not to do is go get a contract and not send it to their title company or their attorneys. It's very important that you make that contract live. And the only way that place that you're going to make that contract live is when you execute it and deposit earnest money at your title company or your attorney's office. You have to do that. And if you wait, and I understand the reason for waiting is because you still don't feel like, what if I'm not going to actually do this deal? I don't want to go in and make this contract live with an attorney or a title company. Why else would you want to wait? Right? But
it's an interesting conversation, because I agree with that. I get a lot of people are trepid. Here's why. Here's why they're afraid of it. Is because they think that wholesalers, real estate investors, agents, they only go to a title company when they have 100% guarantee that deal is going to go through. Guys, title companies, Jamil and I both own a title company. Okay. Listen to this. Like 30-40% of transactions that open escrow fail for one reason or another. And it never has to do, not never, but a very small portion of it has to do with the wholesaler themselves. A lot of it's a title issue, meaning like they have a lien. I'm sure Jamil's run into so many things I've never even ran into, like the seller is not even the actual owner. And that's something you can only find out if you open escrow. So you imagine this, you get a contract from a seller, and instead of opening escrow, people don't understand what opening escrow means, which I think we should talk about. Instead of opening escrow, I hold on to the contract, the physical contract, and I go find a buyer. Right. And then only once I find a buyer do I then open escrow. Wouldn't it be a shame if you went through all that work to find that buyer just to find out that the seller actually wasn't the legal owner of that contract?
Right.
Of that property? Guys, always 100% of the time we get a contract, we are opening escrow within 2 or 3 hours of getting that contract signed. Absolutely. Do you do anything different, Jamil?
Nope. Immediately. You want to make the contract live. You want to have the title work done. You want to know if you need to get proactive on any issues. Say for instance, there's $250,000 in encumbrances on the property and you've signed a contract at $100,000. Now what?
You got at least, and you can go and negotiate those liens, right? If possible. Right. And so that happens a lot of times, guys, where people will open escrow and the title and escrow company they'll do a title report. Okay. That's why you open escrow. I'm going to tell you the number one reason why you open escrow immediately is to secure the contract. We call it consummate the contract. You want the seller to feel comfortable that you're serious about doing business. And Jamil already alluded to that. The second thing is I want to make sure that this property is free and clear of bad voodoo, like liens and improper ownership and other things like that. Maybe they have arrears. Maybe they have an HOA violation they haven't paid for. I want to at least know what I'm dealing with before I go and find a buyer, or simultaneously while I find a buyer.
Right.
Okay. So absolutely, guys, get a contract with the seller, open escrow 100% immediately within a couple of hours. I see wholesalers not doing this because they go, well, I haven't found a buyer yet, and I don't want to be embarrassed by the title and escrow. Guys, they're so used to it. The only way you're going to embarrass yourself is lack of communication, is if you say, hey, all you have to do is say, hey, guys, I couldn't find a buyer on this one, so I'm canceling it. And the title and escrow company go, okay, on to the next one. Let us know when you have the next one.
Absolutely. Right. And another thing that happens is sellers, they don't hear anything from a title company letting them know that that escrow has been opened and that they've received the contracts and that they're working on sending the opening letter out and all the things that a title company or an attorney will do. And now the seller has heard from nobody. You've disappeared. You've got your signed contract in hand. And then 2 days later, another person comes and knocks on the door and offers them $20,000 more. Or even 2 weeks later, because you haven't opened escrow yet. You haven't delivered and even made it clear to the seller that you're serious about buying the property. That happens as well.
That we've told this story a couple of times on Wholesale Hotline, but Jamil and I were in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And we were doing a little cold calling session for a wholesaler in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And we cold call one of their leads, and we get a hold of the lead, and the lead on Instagram Live goes, Come on down. I'll sign the contract over to you right now. So we drive down, literally, this is all done on Instagram Live like 3 years ago. And we cruise down, and the seller meets us there. And then one of our buddies who's a wholesaler shows up at the house at the same time. We're like, what are you doing here, Jory? And Jory's like, I have this house under contract. I'm like, the seller was about to sign with. And I say, dude, here's the contract. I own the contract. And this is what the seller says. The seller says, Jory, I haven't heard from you in like 36 hours. I just assumed the contract was over. And Jory's like, the contract says I'm performing next week. Like, I'm not late. I'm not doing anything wrong. Guys, sellers require constant communication. If you don't allow the title company or escrow officer to help you and assist you in that communication, you're doing yourself a disservice. So when I first started, every time I opened my contracts, I realized, oh my gosh, like 30%, 40% of the communication needs to come from the title and escrow company. This is the greatest thing ever, because now what happens is I don't have to babysit the contract as much. Mm-hmm. I can rely on other professionals to help me out. And so that's the third reason why I like opening title immediately, is so that they can offload some of the communication and the burden off my shoulders so I can go back and get more contracts.
Absolutely.
Jamil, you want to answer this one?
Love it. Carmen asked, when analyzing a property, what do you do when your agent's ARV is much higher than yours? Do you trust the agent's number? Well, Carmen, this is a story I've read many times. And here's the thing, right? You have to look at every deal for what it is, and possibly you missed some comps. Maybe the agent saw some comps that you didn't see, and there's some merit to what they're saying. But what I've seen happen more often than not is an agent is using irrelevant comps, stuff that's way too far, to try to sell a narrative on why you should pay more for a property. That's what I've seen happen more often than not. And it's not just because they don't understand. It's because nobody's really given them the full scope on how to calculate ARV. And so they'll break rules and they'll do things that like appraisers won't actually do to determine what after repair value is. And they'll use and break rules to help them sell a narrative to you on why it should be a higher price. And that's what I've seen happen more often than not. And so what I would say is double check. If you don't have a good relevant comp yourself to prove or disprove what they're saying, get some help from somebody. Do what Pace would say and squat up with somebody in the comments. Go into the Creative Finance by Pace Morby Facebook group. Go into the Wholesale Hotline Facebook group. Ask a question. Go find an Astro student, a Sub-2 student, a TTP student, somebody who has good, relevant understanding of comping, or come to the Straight Outta Comping show and we'll help you take a look at it as well. And that would be the way that I would go about that.
Love that. Dave Murfin says, what up, guys? I just closed my first 2 deals last week. One in Vancouver, Washington, which I literally was just in Vancouver, Washington this morning. I squatted up with Carolina Allen and netted $20,000 on another one in Longview, Washington for $10,000. Let's effing go, Sub-2. So Dave is one of my Sub-2 students. Carolina is a student that her and her husband came into my program. Jamil has thousands of stories like this too. They come into my program. They realize the majority of our mentorships are all about the community and having geographical access to high-level leaders that you can squat up with. So Dave jumped in, got to know Carolina and her husband, and ended up doing a deal where they both made $20,000 on their first deal, and then another one in $10,000. Guys, amazing. Squatting up and connecting with each other is what this is all about.
100%.
All right, here we go. I spoke to a title company today, and she told me to be sure to have both contracts signed, purchase and sell, and assignment before I bring it to her. Hard to get signed contract without a clean title. Thoughts? Sasha, let me tell you something. That closing attorney is somebody I would never do business with.
Yep.
Ever. Okay. I'm going to tell you guys something, and you need to understand this is one of the most important things you'll ever learn in your life. Most people are lazy and will do the very bare minimum. Okay. You want to work with a title or a closing attorney who wants and desires your business. Think about
100%.
this. In your regular life, can we all agree that we have friends that are both motivated and we have other friends that are non-motivated? Okay. Well, guess what? Those people grow up and they become closing attorneys and title company owners. Okay. So there are title companies that don't want to grow. They literally want to do just enough business that they can go on vacation for a whole week every single month. And then there's other title companies like my partners, Jamil's partners, that will work 7 days a week to earn their people's business because they just want to accomplish more. They know they're bound and they have like a promise themselves they're going to do more in their lives than just do the bare minimum. Unfortunately, Sasha, you found a knucklehead closing attorney who doesn't want to grow. Now, I'll give you a last example. Scott Horn in Texas, who's one of my good friends, he's currently writing a chapter in one of my books right now for me. His chapter of the book is called, his chapter he's writing is the legalities of subject to. And Scott Horn is a multi-millionaire, and he's well into his 60s. And this guy works 7 days a week. He will just talk to you, and educate you, help you, love on you. He's not lazy. His customer experience is excellent. He himself is somebody who is like, I feel like I've got 50 more years in me. I want to accomplish more and I want to help more people. Guess what? He's a title attorney, just like your title attorney is as well. Remember,
Wow.
You are not dealing with a title attorney company. You are dealing with an individual.
Yep.
You need to find the individuals that you vibrate with on the right frequency. And that is not somebody you will ever vibrate with. You imagine bringing 10 files a month to that person?
No chance.
No chance.
No chance. So what essentially this title company is saying is that we don't want your business or we don't trust your business.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So Sasha, what I would be doing, and by the way, check this out. So whenever I want to find a good painter, anytime I want to find a good, let's say, carpet guy or, a gravel guy or a concrete guy, do you think I go to Craigslist? Do you think I just drive around and look at people's signs? No, you know what we do is we look for referrals from people we know and trust. Okay. The best hires I've ever brought onto my company were referrals from people that were already awesome people in my organization. So of course I'm going to ask that person instead of go to like Indeed or Upwork or something
100%.
like that. Like, I'm just going to say, who are you friends with? Because you hang out with other awesome people. So Sasha, wherever you are, you're probably in New Jersey or New York by the basis of your question. Okay. I would say you're in New Jersey or New York. I would go in the comments and say, guys, New Jersey, New York, closing attorney, who can help me out? I know a lot of my students are doing sub-2 deals and Jamil's students are doing cash deals in New Jersey and New York. Find referrals of high-level, excellent operators.
Love it.
Jamil, you want to jump on this one?
Absolutely. Arnie Fisher says, hey, I spoke to a hard money lender today from Longhorn Investments. I asked him, could he send me a pre-qual? And he said he didn't know what I meant, and he thought I was trying to send him one. So, Arnie, I would say that maybe you're dealing with somebody who is more of a private lender than a hard money lender. Most hard money lenders will send out a pre-qual letter or a proof of funds letter or a proof of unencumbered funds letter for you on your behalf. And so if he doesn't know what that means, then maybe he isn't a hard money lender or he is a private money lender that doesn't work in that capacity. And so maybe there's just some misunderstanding there. But typically, in my experience with working with hard money lenders, a pre-qualification letter or a proof of unencumbered funds letter or a proof of funds letter is a completely normal ask. What about you, Pace?
I think that the terminology is being used a little bit incorrectly. What's funny about some of the these hard money lenders is that he doesn't provide you a pre-qualification. He asks you, typically they'll give you a proof of funds.
Right.
And so Arnie, what you need to do is call that hard money lender, go, oh my gosh, I'm not looking for a pre-qual because technically you actually don't get qualified for a hard money loan. These are loans you don't have to qualify for. That's why they're hard money loans.
Right. Although I've seen some hard money lenders send out a pre-qual letter, a form as the proof of funds.
Right. So Arnie, there's a possibility that this hard money lender is not one of those lenders. He's a lender that just goes, I do hard money. Like if you need a proof of funds, just tell me you need a proof of funds. So I would call that hard money lender back up and go, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I'm not looking for a pre-qualification. I'm looking for a proof of funds. Okay. And that could help you out. And if you don't, if he ends up not wanting to help you, then guess what? Just like Sasha's title attorney, he's a knucklehead. Go find business elsewhere and get a referral from somebody in the comments of Wholesale Hotline.
Yep.
500 live people right now, by the way.
Wow.
This is really good.
Red Bull 10 says, how do I show legitimacy in my business when I haven't made any deals yet? Woo, Pace, why don't you start us off?
Legitimacy. Okay. If I don't have legitimacy, what I need to do is I need to have 5 friends who do. Okay. I'm going to go network with people at RIAs. I'm going to network with people at masterminds. I'm going to join a mentorship that has students that I can leverage, people that are doing deals, verified deals. One thing that I do, and I've shown this on Zoom before, and I'll show it to you guys here as well, is Jamil does this for his students. I do this for my students as well. I call it my credibility email. Okay. And what is the credibility email? Is it any student that I have in my program? Okay. Here we go. This is it. It's pretty awesome. Any student that I have in my program, I write an email on behalf of my student to any one of their sellers. And I tell their sellers, here's all of my credibility. Here's everything that this student or this person in my program has access to because of me. So, or I'll pull it up in a second. But essentially what I do is I go, here in the last 2 weeks, here's 10 transactions we closed. Here's the final settlement statements. Here's the title companies you can reach out to. Here's my proof of funds. Here's my companies I own. Here's my LLCs I own. And I send that email on behalf of my students to their seller. So get a mentor. That's what mentors are for, is to provide credibility to you and leverage the network of your mentor to also do the same exact thing.
Absolutely. That's it. Proximity. Proximity to legitimacy will give you the legitimacy you seek.
Did you just say that one more time?
Proximity. Get close.
Proximity to legitimacy
will give you the legitimacy you seek.
Oh, I love that. Okay, cool. So, this is it. Here it is. If you don't mind me pulling this up. This is what credibility can give you guys. If you guys have, let's do a little screen share, show this to you guys. If you guys have a mentor, this is what a mentor should give you. Right here. Hi, my name is Pace Morby. I'm the financing partner for Malcolm Finlayson and Willa Yarza, our company. This is my template, right? So anywhere it says blah, 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 that is obviously I fill that in. I say, here's the title company I own. Here's my website. Here's another website. Here's another website. Here's another website. Here's my closing attorney. Here's a testimonial from a seller. Here's my insurance provider. Here's screenshots. Well, this is like a copy of one. Here's screenshots of closing statements. I give out this email to people to provide legitimacy and credibility on behalf of them. So when they're brand new in the business, there is no excuse for them to have fear of the lack of legitimacy. I know Jamil does the same thing. Jamil has a proof of funds that he provides for his students, and it's I don't know where they go to get that. They all probably know that. But guys, that's why you join mentorships, is for the credibility of the network, because those people in there are your JV partners, and then you provide, you get credibility from your mentor. Good stuff. Okay, cool. Okay. So I'm going to give you guys a really, really great way to find title companies and closing attorneys. Okay. We had Sean St. Clair, my personal real estate attorney. He also does a lot of stuff for Jamil. He's a friend of ours. Sean St. Clair came on to Wholesale Hotline about 5 months ago. And Sean St. Clair has a Facebook group full of title companies, closing attorneys nationwide that want your business. It's a Facebook group of just those people in Sean St. Clair, an actual real estate attorney, created this Facebook group for you guys. And what he did is to answer that question. And so I'm not going to give you the name of that Facebook group because I'm going to have you be resourceful and go do your homework. Go to that previous episode of Wholesale Hotline with Sean St. Clair, watch the episode, and you will learn that there's actually a Facebook group with connections of every single state in the country, attorneys and title companies that will do cash transactions, creative transactions, wholesale transactions, etc., all created by a closing attorney himself.
Wow. Is it where is the link in the description for that?
Yep. The link is in the, I almost want to delete it just to make you guys go watch the actual episode. It's a phenomenal episode. So, but yeah, Sean St. Clair, his spelling is right here on the screen. Sean St. Clair, that is correct. You can type it in, Wholesale Hotline, Sean St. Clair. That episode gives you a link to the Facebook group that has all the access to all 50 states, closing attorneys and title companies. And Barbara Christie says that it is a great group. Ooh, Lore. Is that,
Can I file?
Is that my wife? No, it's not my wife. My wife's name on YouTube is Lore, I think, or maybe. So, or Laura on the internet, that's her name. So can I find deals on PropStream? Jamil, can I find deals on PropStream?
Well, Pace, you use PropStream a lot more than I do.
Yeah, we do. We use PropStream a lot. So the answer is yes, you can, but a deal is only a deal when a seller says they're interested. So the better question is, can I find motivated sellers on PropStream? And the answer still is no. Can I find, here's a better question. Can I find a list of potential motivated sellers on PropStream?
Yes.
That answer is yes. So I go to PropStream. Like we just pulled a list the other day, the entire list of Florida mobile homes. Okay. I'm sorry, mobile home parks. Every single mobile home park in Florida. And I just gave it to all my students to call. Okay. It costs thousands and thousands of dollars. And that list right now, because prices are so high with mobile home parks, I've got a lot of students buying mobile home parks on seller finance. So I'm giving out these lists to just encourage people to call. But a deal is only a deal when a seller says yes at the price that you can sell it for. That's what a deal is.
That's it.
What you're talking about is lore. Here's the better question. Can I find leads to cold call or text on PropStream? And the answer is yes. Can I then call those people and find out if they're motivated and give them a price and try and get them under contract? The answer is yes. That is that is truly it. Ooh, okay. So Laura says, I have driven and found distressed properties. Okay, so Laura, what you want to do is, it's great that you found those properties, but it does you nothing unless you call them, you text them, or you door knock them. You could direct mail them. You could send them postcards, but that costs a lot of money. I suggest not doing that when you're brand new because money can be burned up really quickly. You need to reach out to them, okay? So any recommendations on skip tracing platforms? Yes. If you go to batchskiptracing.com/Jamil, I think Jamil has the best discount on batch skip tracing. Go to batchskiptracing.com/Jamil, Jamil, or it might be /Blue Genie. I'm not sure if they changed it or not.
I think it's Pace, actually.
Batchskiptracing.com/Jamil. Okay. Charity Hope. Okay. So Charity, who is in here from Dallas I can connect with? I'm a wholesaler. Look for Myron, Myron. Myron is one of my students in Dallas, Fort Worth. And I just bought Myron and all my sub students in DFW, the whole entire foreclosure list for the entire upcoming year. So they're definitely somebody you want to work with and become friends with. All right. And Phil, there's a lot of them. Jared Frankham is right. Phil Gore is another sub-2 student. He's awesome, but I'm just telling, Phil Gore rarely comes into Wholesale Hotline. And so I'm typically not going to promote Phil Gore. I love him, but he doesn't come in here that often. So I'm going to promote the people that are actually coming in here. All right. Let's see what other questions. Ooh, this is an interesting question. You have any ideas on this one?
Well, Sean asked, did the sale of PropStream change quality of service? And I think that the obvious short-term answer to that would be absolutely not. Nothing's really changed there. It's still the exact service it was 2 weeks ago, a month ago. And that, I don't think that affects anything. But here's what I do think. I think that its use case has changed now. So who the user was prior to its sale was real estate investors, folks like you and I that are looking for information to find motivated sellers or to do real estate transactions. That's what we used as a tool to do business. I think now with it being owned by a title company, I think the use case for it changes. And I think that the user changes as well. And they will find different users for it. And so some of the tools that you might have experienced or used in the past may not remain. Some of them might change. Some of them might get better. They probably will. You got to understand who they were purchased by is not a Mickey Mouse company. It's a huge company. Security Title is huge. So what will they do? They'll invest money into the service and they'll do great things with it. But see that it'll broaden. Its user will broaden. Its user base will broaden. And so how it will be used by investors and people in the real estate industry alike will change. And that's what's to be seen.
I agree with everything you just said. I'm excited for the future of PropStream. They reached out to me personally this last week and told me that they're doubling down on the people that help them talk about it. And they want to make sure that we have more access to resources and tools to help our audience learn that program and that platform better. They said they're going to be opening up their ears to any feedback that they have so they can improve that service. So I'm excited about the future of it. I think that somebody that's investing $175 million in the purchase of that business is a massive investment. And so you think they're going to hire knuckleheads? No, they're going to hire some amazing people to help run and improve that service. So I'm excited about it. Chris Montana asks, I actually drove by a house today and that house is screaming for help. Every day I pass it on my way to work. So Chris, this is such a common thing in this business, is that people always ask, how do I find a deal? How do I get started in real estate? Guys, it really is so dang easy to get started in real estate. Every time you drive home from work, you drive to Walmart, you drive to wherever you're driving to, Fascinations, Adam and Eve, whatever it is, whatever store you're going to that day, wherever you're going, just think about this. Keep your eyes peeled for houses that are falling apart. They're over, the landscape is overgrown. There's problems or like obvious signs of distress on the property. And know that the only way that Jamil and myself make money in this business, the only difference between us and you is that we actually call those houses.
That's it.
That's it. We see the house, we put it in one of our pieces of software so we can get the phone numbers, and then we call those houses. That's it. That's the difference. And so many people are asking, how do I get in this business? We've talked about this so many times. There's 15 million vacant properties in the United States right now. There's insane. An endless stream of deals. And all we hear in the media, Jamil, is
housing crisis.
There are not enough houses. We need 5 million houses right now to satisfy demand.
There's 15 million vacant ones and we need 5 million to satisfy demand. Think, guys.
So Chris, all you have to do is call that person. So let me tell you guys what we're going to be doing. I know Jamil's got some challenges coming up in 2022. We both had some really fun, successful challenges this year. And what is a challenge? Let's talk about that for a second. Then I want Jamil to talk about his last challenge. And I'll tell you guys about a couple of things that we're wanting to do this year. A challenge is a way where we collectively get together as a community and we do the same exact challenges together because we are a herd type of being, right? We all want to do things as a herd. We want to do something as a collective. It's way more fun to do things with your friends than it is to do it by yourself.
True.
And so when we do challenges, it gives us an opportunity to grow together and do the same exact actions day in and day out for 10 days, 20 days, 30 days, whatever the challenge duration is. I did 8 challenges this year and we helped over 1,000 people get their first deal or their second deal this year, just through our free challenges. Okay. Our last challenge that we did was a driving for deals challenge that we helped my sub 2 students. The original goal was to help 50 people get their first deal in 30 days. And we ended up helping over 300 people get their first deal in 26 days. And then we ended the challenge because it was like, this is crazy. So there are so many of these recordings available for you to go out and rewatch these recordings and rewatch these challenges and take those steps. But I kind of feel like most people don't want to do that. It's kind of like, would I rather have a personal trainer that comes to my house and helps me and talks to me and I develop a relationship? Or would I rather watch P90X or something on video and do do my workouts by watching a TV?
Right.
As human beings, we want to watch things live and we want to build relationships with people. And this is why Jamil's secret agent challenge just absolutely obliterated the internet a couple of weeks ago, is because he did a live 10-day challenge all about doing deals with real estate agent cost this much money out of your pocket. Okay. So we're going to be doing more challenges in 2022. I'm curious, Jamil, what's your schedule? Do you have a schedule in mind? Like when you're going to do your next challenge? Are you thinking like quarter 1 or quarter 2?
Quarter 1 for our next one. And it's going to be a mindset challenge, actually.
Dang. Are you doing this because I need it?
We all do. 2022 is going to be all of our biggest years. Every one of us.
I agree.
And I think that when we collectively do work together, and that means that all of us are doing an exercise together and holding each other accountable to it. I need it just as much as the people that I'm going to be doing it with need it. So that's the purpose.
When are you thinking you're going to do that?
Well, why don't you and I collaborate on it and come up with a time that works for both of us, and we'll do something big.
I don't think Zoom or AirMeet could handle both of our community. We have to create our own software to handle how many awesome people are going to be on there.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. So you're thinking mindset. I love that. I think so many people need that. You're not quite sure on the time frame yet, but you're thinking quarter 1. Okay, cool.
Yes, sir.
So guys, I've got a big challenge coming up. I'm hoping that we're going to end up collaborating with the Bigger Pockets community is my goal and my wish. I think it's going to happen in quarter 1. And what I'm thinking about doing is having my students at Sub 2, Jamil's students at Escrow help the Bigger Pockets people get their first deal, because a lot of people, it's so good. Because a lot of people on Bigger Pockets, they learn how to go out and find deals on MLS, how to find deals through real estate agents, how to find deals, but like not through off-market deals. They find them on market and they pay full retail. They go get a loan, do all that kind of stuff. So we're going to kind of give them a different layer of value, and we're going to have our audience teach them how to go out and get their first deal. So we're going to have a lot of fun with that. I think we're going to do multiple driving for deals challenges because it's the lowest hanging fruit. I think it's the easiest way for people to get a deal is always going to be driving for deals. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I'd say there's 3 easy ways that cost almost no money to get deals. Can I tell you what those 3 ways are? I'm going to tell you. Number 1 is driving for deals. It's pretty easy. It's a low hanging fruit, right? I can go do that by myself. I can call the sellers, all that kind of stuff. Okay. Or I can do the secret agent challenge, which is Jamil's challenge. And that doesn't cost me any freaking money.
Not a dime, baby.
It's the easy button of real estate. I say Escrow and Sub 2 are the easy button of real estate. So the third way to get my first deal is I would leverage creative finance. I can literally buy $1 million of real estate every single day just because creative finance. I can go to wholesalers and take their dead leads, right? All the stuff they don't know what to do with. I can just pick those things up, and those things I can either assign them and wholesale them, or B, I can keep those on as cash flow. So for me, those are the 3 easiest ways to get a deal that don't cost me any money.
Right.
And so Jamil and I do challenges around those, and we're going to do a lot of challenges going into 2022. Keep you guys active, keep you guys accountable, keep you guys networking with each other, and super excited about, getting more and more deals and stacking cash in your pocket. I would love to do a door knocking challenge. We've tried this. Here's the challenge with door knocking challenge. Nobody wants to do it. And we get people that are excited about it, but then when they see what it takes to actually door knock, not a lot of people actually want to door knock. They want to do the texting and the cold calling because there's that added layer of like uncomfortable, I'm on somebody's doorstep, holy moly, what am I doing type of thing. And now really what you need at that moment is a mindset challenge.
Yep.
Because you need to overcome the mindset. So I'm excited about your mindset challenge for sure. Thank you, Al. Al says 3 ways that cost almost no money to do. Number 1, driving for deals. 2, astro flipping squat up. 3, creative find dead leads from wholesalers. That is correct. Thank you, Jason. We appreciate the love, man. You're always making amazing comments and giving us so much support. Guys, in fact, we want to thank all of you guys. Jamil's better at articulating this than I am. I literally get my energy from all of you guys. And I know Jamil does too. People ask us all the time, how are you traveling around the country? How are you doing this? How are you? It seems like you're everywhere. And we're like, we've found our energy source.
100%.
We've plugged into our people. We've plugged into our community. We've found a way to serve that we have a lot of fun doing. We get to hang out with our best friends while doing it. And then we get to see people change their lives, watch people get their first deal on a podcast, $20,000 and $10,000 like 30, 40 minutes ago. This is the coolest thing. It's the coolest thing we get to do ever, bro. How much has this podcast changed your life and like seeing how you go around the world and people stop you in airports and go, Wholesale Hotline?
It just happened to me here in Park City. Just at the grocery store, you know, someone walks up and says, Jamil, oh my God, I watch the hotline. It's crazy. But the hotline, you know, forget getting recognized. That's cool. I don't, you know, who cares? Honestly, it's when people are truly taking action and changing their financial destinies. That's the ricochet. That's the stuff that Pace and I are truly wanting to plug into, just because we know that impact has a butterfly effect beyond that is such a blessing in every direction. Not only for us, for you, for everybody that is in your lineage. Everybody, you can change your entire family's trajectory.
Yeah, I think people have a hard time getting gifts for people like you and me, right? Because we're the kind of people that if we want something, we just buy it, right? Like if you ever want something, it's funny. I watch you, you're just like, yeah, I'm just going to buy that. Or your wife knows preemptively and she'll get you what you want, right? So people ask me all the time, hey man, I want to send you something to thank you. And I'm like, dude, don't send me anything. Don't buy me anything. Don't even send me a card. Here's what I want you to do. Make a 1-minute video about somebody else that you helped get their first deal. That's like $1 million to me.
100%.
I want to know that something that Jamil and I collaborated on, Jamil, myself, and Brent collaborated on, impacted you to the point where you helped somebody else. Not even just your immediate family. Yes, of course, your immediate family. But what about your kids or your kids' kids and whatever? We want to see that grow. But somebody outside of your family, somebody in your local geographical area, in a Facebook group or whatever, that's like, I need help. Like, for example, check out our boy, Chris Montana. Okay. He's so rugged. He's got 2 N's in his Montana name. Okay. Houses, this is the same Chris that says, I drive by the same house every single day. So house is boarded up and it's been there for days. Anyone wants to squat up, thank you guys for the tough love because it's always the best love. Okay, Chris, first off, I didn't give you tough love, but I appreciate you thinking it was tough love. I was just telling you, legitimately, you have to call these sellers. Now, if anybody wants to thank Jamil and I for the 97 episodes that we've put together and the 970 more episodes that we're going to do of Wholesale Hotline, you want to thank us? Reach out to Chris right now. Help Chris call that seller. Break that paradigm that this is hard for him. Okay. Now, Chris, I want to tell you one more thing. That one house that you're really hyper focused on right now, you need to go find about 1,000 more of those.
Exactly. That's just it. You know, it's that first bit of resistance. That is where 95% of people will stop. The first bit of resistance, but Pace is right. 1,000 more because they're not going to work. The numbers aren't going to work. There's going to be issues. Things are going to happen. Sellers are going to ghost you. If you're going to stub your toe. Keep going.
Yeah, and the reality is, in the very beginning, most of the sellers won't even answer. And you're going to be like, well, I thought this is what you do to get a deal. Guys, I'm telling you, you got to call thousands of people to get hundreds of deals.
Yep.
Actually, no, you got to call thousands of people to get dozens of deals. Okay, think about that again. Mr. Montana, you have to call thousands of people to get dozens of deals. Okay. Heidi D, Jamil, this is a great question for you, my brother.
Heidi D asked, my question again, when I get a property under wholesale contract, who pays the EMD and when do they pay it? So I feel like this question goes into the DeLorean a couple times, into the future, into the past, into the future, into the past. Am I reading this wrong, Pace?
When I get a property under a wholesale contract, who pays the EMD and when do they pay it?
So is she talking about, because here's where I think the question is she talking about having it sold already or not?
No, she just barely bought the deal. She just bought it. She got under contract with the seller.
So Heidi, if this is just you put the contract, put a deal you put a house under contract direct to a seller, you would be putting the earnest money up, and you put it up immediately upon opening escrow with your title attorney, your title company, or your closing attorney. So you pay it right away, and you can negotiate that time. So if you want to put your EMD down at the end of inspection period, because you say you live in a state like California where the EMDs are $10,000 or $20,000 or $30,000, you can write that in. Now it won't always get accepted, but I've seen it get accepted plenty of times. I see that happen quite often, especially for real estate investors and larger companies. They won't put up EMD until after their inspection periods are over. And so that is a legitimate way to try to do your deal. And that keeps you from having to write that big check. But in most states, you can get away with a pretty nominal amount for earnest deposit. What do you think, Pace?
This is a great question, because I think if you're me, and you understand how to navigate things, here's what I could do. I could go to my title company and they trust me. So a lot of times my title company they don't even care if I deposit earnest money. I'm just telling you the truth. This is what really happens in this business, good, bad, or indifferent. Your title company trusts you so much because you've done so many transactions that a lot of times we don't even put earnest money in.
They don't even bug you for it.
Days.
Yep.
Right. And if it's a deal that we know we're buying for a fix and flip, we never put earnest money in because we know we're the buyers. So if the seller calls the title company, oh, are you kidding me? These guys are the most credible buyers ever. Now, that's me. That's Jamil. Okay. So let's go back to me being brand new. Typically, most wholesalers are going to write $100 as earnest money on their contract. $100. Okay. Now, if you can't spare $100, then I would suggest hurrying and finding a buyer who has the $100 to cover your butt. Okay. You can do it both ways. For us, when we open escrow at a title company and we know we're going to have to put in earnest money, we just put the earnest money in because it's not worth our hassle to feel stressed out about finding a buyer within like a day, worrying about this earnest money being covered. We just pay for it, like Jamil said. But the reality is, if you have a buyer lined up, the buyer can pay for that earnest money for you. Okay.
Correct.
Quashawn Carter says, is it bad that I have never put earnest money down on any deal? No, it's not bad. It is the actual reality of the business that you're running and the title company that you're doing business with, Quashawn. And I know Mr. Carter, I actually closed a sub-2 deal for him, and the freaking knucklehead, Jamil, you and I were in West Palm Beach not too long ago.
Yep.
And I went down in the hotel lobby and I closed this seller for Mr. Carter on a sub-2 deal. And I said, I will close this deal for you if you sell it to me. He's like, done. Do you think Mr. Carter sold this deal to me?
Of course.
He did not.
No.
But I'm glad he didn't. I'm glad he didn't. He went and partnered with another amazing student. I'm glad he didn't. I'm glad I had the opportunity to call the seller. He was really close to getting the seller close. He just needed an extra push. I'm like, let's call him right now. What are we hesitating? Let's call him right now. He's like, it's 8:30 at night. I'm like,
so what?
Well, what? Let's call him. So anyway, Mr. Carter, you're amazing. The reality is there's a lot of people that think that earnest money is really, really scary. But the reality is if you're doing business with a title company that does a lot of wholesale transactions, they're really never going to hound you for their earnest money. I'm sorry to tell you this. And I hate to like tell people this because I don't know if it's illegal or not, but it is the reality of this business.
I think it happens after some trust is built more than anything though.
Yes.
Right. Like that our title companies don't harass us for stuff or earnest deposits and this and that because they know that our likelihood of putting them in a situation that is bad for anybody is zero.
There you go. That is a really great point. So the answer for the earnest money thing is you should put the earnest money down. But if you are broke, you can always have your buyer put the earnest money down and cover it for you if you can find the buyer fast enough.
Yes.
Okay. Ooh. Okay. I'm going to tell you guys something I don't agree with. Okay. If you don't mind real quick. I do not believe that real cash buyers are in Facebook groups.
Totally.
I see so many wholesalers going out and posting like, I have a deal. And the only people you're going to attract in a Facebook group are other wholesalers who want to daisy chain your deal. And I don't mind daisy chaining. Hell, I do daisy chains. Jamil is a daisy chain king, and daisy chain is not a negative thing.
But that a daisy chain is when there's not equitable interest that's been established.
I'm not smart enough to differentiate that. I'm only looking at a daisy chain as a wholesaler brought a deal to me and I told that wholesaler, hey, do you mind if I sell this for you? The wholesaler says, yeah, try and sell it for me. And I go sell it for him. I would say that I just daisy chain. Is daisy chaining a negative thing?
I don't know. I think helping or doing deals or JVing or partnering on deals is an amazing thing to do. I think what happened is that people have a negative connotation to the term daisy chain because when you're just blindly emailing other people's deals,
you're talking about idiots that are trying to sell, they're selling other people's deals without communicating.
Well, that's what the term has been coined and used as on the internet.
That's not good.
That's where I think the impact happened is that people don't understand the difference.
Okay, so we're differentiating this. Like Carolina Allen says, I stay away from daisy chaining, but JV to find a buyer all day long. Okay, great. So the terminology is the difference. Is basically if I'm daisy chaining, that means I took your deal off your website and I saw your deal and I send it out to my buyers without communicating to you. Is that what daisy chaining is? Correct.
And then send it out at wild prices and do all kinds of ridiculous stuff. You haven't spoken to anybody. You've got no one's permission. That's a terrible offense.
Love it. So, yeah, I'm sorry. I've always said people go, man, why daisy chaining is bad? I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? Daisy chaining is dope. You can make so much money from daisy chaining. What are you talking about? And I guess that you guys have like coined this and I never even cared about it. So, always communicate with the wholesaler that you're JVing with, guys. Sorry about that. One quick thing, if you don't mind, because I think we should have an upcoming guest come into the show. Austin Fry says, how many skip trace phone numbers does one VA need for them to call 30 hours per week? Guys, if you want, I will bring in the owner of a virtual assistant business into this, into Wholesale Hotline, and we will talk about all the statistics, all the analytics, all the changes of cold calling, everything you need to know about when you have a VA. How many phone numbers do they need? How many lists do they need? How fast can they go through it? Are you going to recycle that data? What is the best list to start on if I have a limited budget? All of those questions, if you guys really want, I will bring in the owner of a virtual assistant business that has all of those answers. And he's aggregated that from all of his existing clients and his own business that he can legitimately say, here are the lists that are working the best. Here are the hottest markets. Here are how many calls you need to have to get a lead. Here's how many leads you need to get a contract. Here's how many, if you guys want that, we will bring that value to you sometime in the next 20 to 30 days. And we can talk about answering all of that. We got a lot of people saying, yes, 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 yes. Love it. Okay, cool.
Hey, there's one thing I did want to say just to answer that question about the buyers and developers before we miss being able to give this to them. You'll find developers on LinkedIn.
Agree with that. 100%. Not on Facebook groups.
Nope. The developers hang out on LinkedIn. Go find them there.
Yeah. Facebook groups, guys, I see a lot of people sending out deals on Facebook groups, and then they continually complain that their buyer canceled right before they closed escrow, or their buyer didn't put in any earnest money on the deal. Jamil, can you tell me why these buyers are not actually performing?
Well, there's just miscommunication. There, people are out there not knowing what they're doing, and they're trying to put stuff together, and they're just wasting time. The key here is if you are working with legitimate buyers and you can bring actual value to another wholesaler, great, do that, and do that all day long. And you might find somebody who can do that for you in a Facebook group, but know what it is. Communicate, ask. If you're talking to somebody and they seem to not be the buyer, but maybe have a buyer, ask them flat out, hey, are you buying this, or do you have somebody who might be interested in it? And don't attack them and ask them in a way that makes them feel like they are doing something wrong. Do the work, right? Because there are buyers out there that are connected to other people that are skip tracing and pulling buyers lists and building relationships with buyers and doing all that. That happens. A lot of people do this work, but know what it is. Ask the person, communicate with them, and know who you're talking to. But the strict actual developers that I've ever worked with, that we've sold plots of land to, or multifamily land to, buildable land, that you'll find on LinkedIn every single time. They've got great LinkedIn profiles. They'll tell you about all their subdivisions, master plan communities. A lot of them are the smaller boutique builders, would have worked originally at the national home builders and then went and started their own little home building companies. And so you'll see their web of experience, and you'll be able to talk to the right people at the development company who are doing acquisitions. So LinkedIn is a great resource, and you can even get their contact information from just a small paid membership on LinkedIn. Get the pro version.
I agree with that entirely. A couple of things I want to point out to you guys. I think we should bring on PropStream in the next couple of weeks and just have them show you guys some ninja tricks. I've been working with Burton and a couple other people at PropStream, like how to find a buy and hold buyer. I also want to show you guys how to find private lenders that will put money in second position. Do you guys know how easy that really is? It's so stinking easy. Actually, I kind of want to show you guys this. But I almost want to go through and just show you guys how easy it is to find stuff, because a lot of people have a misconception that this stuff is hard and that you can't find this stuff. Right. Guys, if I want to find a lender right now that will give me money for a sub-2 or a creative finance deal or a fix and flip or whatever, I can use public data to find those people and their phone numbers and call them immediately. And not only is it okay to call them, I call it, hey, my name's Pace. I see that you've loaned money by looking at public records. Do you guys have any more money to deploy? They're not going to think that's a weird call.
No, because they're doing it.
If I called Jamil and I said, hey, this is Pace, I'd like to order a pepperoni pizza, Jamil would be like, bro, you got the wrong number, you idiot. But if I call Jamil and I go, hey, is there a blue genie there? He's going to say, yes, there is. So understand that when you're calling lenders and you're calling cash buyers, these people are expecting that conversation. They want this conversation. Hi, my name is Pace. I saw you bought a property on such and such. Oh, they won't even let you finish. They'll say, are you telling me you got another deal for me? If you guys want, maybe what we can do is we can show you how to find cash buyers, and we can show you how to find buy and hold buyers. And I will call them right there on Wholesale Hotline and show you how easy those conversations really are. Okay. Carmen Polk, we'll do that for you. Maybe we'll do that next week if you guys really want us to. Okay. Jamil, this one's a good one for you.
Charity Hope asked, do lenders look at your personal credit or business credit? So Charity, really depends on what type of lender you're talking about. Are you talking about a conventional lender, or are you talking about a hard money lender? If you're looking at a conventional lender, they're absolutely going to look at your business credit. They're going to look at your personal credit. They're going to look at all of your credit. If you're dealing with a hard money lender, they're going to look at the asset. They're primarily asset-based lenders. And so your personal credit means nothing. In fact, every hard money loan that I get, I not only have my credit never pulled, but I have no personal guarantees, nothing of the sort. I am completely asset-based. So I put down a small percentage, sometimes 10 or 15 or 20% at the most, sometimes nothing. A lot of lenders are out there that'll do 100% financing, just at a higher rate. And so even they will not check your credit. So there are some great lenders out there with some great opportunities for you to take properties down so that you can sell them, fix and flip them, or do anything that you're looking to do with them. So but that depends on the type of lender.
Love it. So CG Benali says, I want to be a lender, but how to? So CG, I just did a YouTube video. It's a 45-minute YouTube video on the 5 absolute most important rules of being a private money lender. And I actually it was basically a 45-minute Zoom I did with one of my students that wanted to lend money to somebody else. And I gave them the 5 steps and the 5 things you absolutely need to do in order to lend money to people. Go to my YouTube channel and watch that. And if you have questions, email me and I will do a private Zoom with you and I will walk you through that, because I'm looking for more content regarding private lenders so I can educate people on how to lend money to each other properly, because I see a lot of people getting ripped off by borrowing money or whatever. And I want to make sure it's taken care of. So I did this 45-minute private Zoom for this lady, put it on my YouTube channel. Hopefully it helps. If you still have questions, reach out to me on Instagram DM and I'll make sure that we connect and I'll answer your questions, anything that you have. I'll end up, the problem is if you have a question about it and I do a Zoom with you, it's going to be put on my YouTube channel. So just be aware that, go ahead.
No. I said, yes, it's going to be on your YouTube channel and great. That's how people will find you. They'll do business with you. They'll see you on Wholesale Hotline, or they'll see you in a Zoom and they'll want to work with you. So even when you ask questions and we put your question up on the screen, people get to know you and believe that thousands of people tune in. Pace, how many thousands of people do you think watch Wholesale Hotline every week?
We have close to 10,000 people.
Wow.
Most people download it. They download it and they listen to it. Did you see that Instagram post from earlier today? Somebody was watching Wholesale Hotline while they were driving Uber.
Crazy. And somebody who followed you was in the Uber watching them watch you.
It was like Inception, Wholesale Hotline style.
So fun.
Let's see. Could you name the asset-based lender that Pace mentioned a few episodes ago? I cannot find in my notes, maybe episode whatever. It's called myinvestorloan.com. And I think Jamil has another lender. Jamil, where do people get their proof of funds from you?
flip2fund@gmail.com.
flip2fund@gmail.com, guys. Reach out to that. So Peter Natarino, it's myinvestorloan.com. Let's see. The other person that just popped in here was really good. I want to make sure I highlight this because here we go. Angel Hunt. So new lender for me. Okay. They reached out. I did a Zoom with them, really quick one. They're going to be lending on one of my sub 2 deals. And unfortunately, I will not make that information private because they're actually one of my lenders. But if somebody has a question about lending, I will answer your question one-on-one. I will do a 30-minute or a 45-minute one-on-one with you, as long as you allow me to put that content on my YouTube channel so we can educate other people on how to lend money properly as a private investor. Because we have a total, I think we have a total of $7 million of private money, lenders' money. And we go through between 10 and $15 million of private money every single year for fix and flips and long-term holds. We know how to handle private money. And I want to make sure I educate other people on how to do it too, because here's the number one rule that people are breaking right now in lending. When somebody says, I need to borrow money for this fix and flip, or I need to borrow money for this buy and hold, the lender is wiring money to the individual into their individual bank account or their business bank account. And people on this live are going to be like, wait, what? Isn't that what you're supposed to do? Guys, never, ever, ever, ever lend money without the money going to a title company
What could
first.
happen? What could happen if it didn't?
They can just walk away with the money. You don't have, here's the most important thing you need. You need an actual real estate transaction to close, and your loan needs to be recorded against that property to secure your loan. What's happening is people are taking loans, or they're making loans to people, fix and flippers, buy and holders, it doesn't matter. And they're wiring money to their personal bank account without having a title or closing attorney create a note and deed of trust to protect that lender from losing their money. Okay. So for me, when I borrow money from people, the money goes to the title company first. When the transaction closes and now I own that property, then the title company wires the money to me so I can pay for the renovation, the rehab, the furniture for the Airbnb. That's number one. Number two, I always have the title and closing attorney write a note and deed of trust. And three, it gets secured against the property in the form of a lien. Four, I make sure that I buy a lender's policy at my title company to protect my lender against any bad paperwork or anything that could have gone wrong in the transaction. My lenders are protected. And I see people bypassing all four of those things and wiring people money to their personal bank accounts.
And so if the person walks away, you can't just call 911 and say somebody stole my money, can you?
No, you have to hire an attorney and sue them, which takes 2 years and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the reality is, do you think they even have that money? It's gone. It's gone. You lost your money. So for us, what I'll do, guys, is I'll show you. What I'll do is maybe Laura or myself will do like a private little Zoom or something in the next couple of weeks. And I'll have my wife show you what it looks like to record something against a property. So you guys understand. A lot of people don't even understand what recording this against the property means. I'd like to show you what that means.
Right.
So you can see, if you look up any one of my properties, you will see my lenders are attached to that property. I can't refinance. I can't sell it. I can't do anything on that property without that lender getting paid. Okay. Sorry, I had to go off on that. That's it's been going on in my personal world. Here we go. Paulina and love it.
I think this is a good one for you again, Pace.
Yeah, here's how I do it. How do I get over the crying factor? I always seem to get so emotional when speaking with sellers. You get emotional because of fear, or you get emotional because you get so involved in their story? Because sometimes I get emotional when I talk to sellers too, because you've got little old grandmas that are going through really hard times, and you can get emotional listening to their stories, which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. You don't want to turn that off. If it's because of fear, then it's because you're not squatting up. You're trying to do this on your own. That's it. Yep. If you're sitting next to somebody that has experience, or you're doing this on a Zoom with other people, it's a lot easier, and it becomes actually really, really fun.
How many people we have tuned in today, Pace?
Over 500.
Wow.
Basically, the whole thing has been over 500 this whole night. Zachary Hamilton says,
go ahead.
This is good. This gives me extra energy while I watch or I deliver pizza. I want to ask sellers if they have any houses to sell.
Amazing.
Let's see here. Okay, so it's Wanda Wu. That's a cool name. I have the fear when trying to call a seller. Okay. I'm going to give you something that sounds very promotional and very salesy, and I hate to be that guy. This is why Jamil and I create mentorships, is because our students work together. So I can tell when people are my students or Jamil's students just by the questions they ask. Okay. My students, they might have the fear of talking to sellers, but they're not going to express it in Wholesale Hotline because they know where to go to find the solution. Here's their solution. Every day, my mentorship has 4 now. We have an East Coast and West Coast morning role playing. We have now an East Coast and West Coast evening role playing. So a total of 8 hours, somebody is there to help you call sellers and overcome objections inside my mentorship. Jamil, same thing. He has leaders and people in his program that will help you talk to your sellers and squat up with you. So Wanda Wu, you need to find somebody that wants to squat up with you and wants to help you call and talk to sellers, because that is one of the only ways you're going to be able to overcome that. I know a lot of people are going to be like, just effing do it. Just get over it. Just get over it. Guys, we do things better as a herd. We do things better 100%. As a collective, right? And it makes it more fun when you're doing it with your friends, okay? And you see Heidi right here. She says, we're improving the life of a community one property at a time. That is correct. Andres says, is there anything I need to put in the special provisions section in a contract, both for a wholesale transaction and a sub-2 transaction? Jamil, you want to talk about wholesale transaction?
Absolutely. So for a wholesale transaction, I've seen some title companies require that you disclose that you have intentions of making a profit. And I absolutely have nothing against this disclosure. I think that writing a disclosure in your contract that says the buyer is an LLC with intentions to make a profit on purchase is a completely reasonable thing to disclose, because you are an LLC, you are a company, and what do companies exist for? To lose money?
No.
They are in existence to make money. And that is the purpose of all companies. And so that there's nothing wrong with disclosing the obvious. And so I think that for wholesale, if your title company or closing attorney requests that you put that disclosure in, we put that disclosure into our contracts. That is what we do. And now some states are going to require, or some title companies or closing attorneys are going to require that you have as your buyer name, if you intend to wholesale the contract, and or assignee, or designated entity in your buyer name if you plan to assign the contract, and no special provision barring the assignment of that contract. So these are some of the ways that wholesalers get tripped up in the purchase and sale agreement. It's assignability, and it's disclosing that their intentions are to make a profit. But I think that if you understand those two key instruments, you'll do fine.
So here's the thing. I don't need extra provisions inside of a sub-2 contract, because I wrote my sub-2 contract with an attorney, and I told him exactly what provisions to put in the contract from the get-go. So I don't need to add anything extra.
Right.
Except there is, on page 3, there's a section in my sub-2 contract. If there's anything weird or oddball about the situation, like seller needs to live in the house for 30 days or something like that, those things are obviously, I can always handwrite those in. But things regarding due on sell, extended liability or continued liability of an ongoing debt, insurance, power of attorney, all these things that, really, really important with creative finance, those things are already in my contract. So I don't really need to add additional provisions to a sub-2 contract. By the way, don't ever use a wholesale contract to sign a sub-2 deal.
No, sir.
I'm buying a deal right now. It's in Texas. It came from a non-student of mine. They wrote a wholesale contract and they said, hey, I've got a sub-2 deal. I'll sign it to you. I go, no problem. Send me the contract. I'll make sure it's written properly, because you're not one of my students. I look at the contract. I go, dude, first off, this is a cash transaction. This seller's not being made aware this is sub-2. Oh, he knows it's sub-2. He knows it's sub-2. Does he? Do you mind if I call him and ask him a couple of questions? He goes, oh, yeah, he knows. I get on the phone with the seller and the guy sending me the deal. And I go, hey, seller, my name's Pace. I'm going to be the guy that's partnering with, the person that brought this deal to me. I said partner, so I wouldn't throw him out of the deal. And I started asking him questions. He goes, no. This is a cash deal. This is a cash deal. I go, no, it's not a cash deal. He's bringing it to me as a sub-2 transaction. And the seller goes, I had no idea what he was talking about with the sub-2 thing and the blah, 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 blah. Guys, you will find this out when you are going through a sub-2 contract, when you are telling the seller about due on sale clause and continued liability and all these other 7 provisions you have to go through. The seller will go, wait, this is what we're talking about? Guys, use the proper contracts, okay? Use the proper contracts, okay? Shmuel, how do you present a novation agreement to an attorney? Novation agreements in my mentorship, my students all have access to my novation agreements. Shmuel, I like that name. It's really challenging, but I like it a lot. I would go and say, who in Pace's mentorship is in the side comments that I can work with so that we can do a novation agreement together, because you need, the novation agreement is in my mentorship and my students have that. Let's see here. There's a really good one that made my heart melt right here. My favorite comment of the day. Leroy said something about, should I hire Jamil and Pace as my mentors? And Ingrid says, the best investment I ever made was to pay for the sub-2 mentorship and mastermind. I now have a roadmap to being a millionaire. I'm not overstating. Money well invested. What's fun watching Ingrid, who's an agent, watching her do fix and flips, creative. She just did her first creative finance deal, doing cash deals and like working with other people and gaining confidence. It's like, I told her the other day, I was like, I'm so proud of you.
So good. Ingrid's amazing. She's doing a great job. And she's bolted these strategies onto her traditional real estate business. Think of that. All of the real estate agents out there who aren't using wholesale and creative finance in their world to do more transactions and not just listings.
Okay, so here's an interesting one. Shmel says, I am a sub-2 student. Okay, Shmel, then if you were a sub-2 student, you must be new because you haven't come into any of the Zooms to hang out with me. So shame, come hang out with me. I want to hang out with you and get to know you. The other thing is I would be asking sub-2 students these creative finance questions because we get, man, our sub-2 students are so good in that Facebook group. I would jump on that like immediately. Okay. Would you lock in a contract, whether it's okay, we're getting creative finance stuff all over the place.
That's all good.
Ooh. Okay. Jamil, what are your thoughts on this?
Yanni said, do I have to do local wholesaling before transitioning into virtual? You don't have to do anything. Honestly, you can work wherever you have insight or information. My only suggestion is go where the action is. Don't be one of those people that decides to go into a market where you think there's going to be limited competition, so you stick to rural areas or these little no-name podunk towns in America. There's no business happening there. Go where the major cities are. But you can absolutely work virtually to start. You can work locally to start. I always suggest people start in their local market if you are in a or close to a good metro area with a nice population density. My suggestion to do that is because you can go to networking events. You can go to RIAs. You can go and actually rub elbows with people that are doing business in the local areas. You can be a part of the accountability groups that meet and hang out like the ones that Sub2 has, like the ones that Astro have, and become a part of a broader community. And that is why when you do it locally, you get success faster usually than doing it virtually. But, you know, if you scaled correctly and using the right tools, like the right virtual assistants, and the right list, the right cold callers, all of that, virtual wholesaling is completely doable and just as lucrative. So it really just depends on your desire.
Love that. Joe says, I'm looking for a sub-2 student that's done a couple of deals. I have leads we are not capitalizing on, and we could be. Who's out there and has done deals in Michigan and Indianapolis? So I tell my sub-2 students all the time, this is the biggest hack of getting into real estate is guys like Joe. I get probably 50% of my creative finance deals from guys like Joe, wholesalers who are like, I don't want to learn creative finance. I think wholesaling is the way for me. So I'm throwing all these leads away. Somebody needs to come and capitalize on these guys. Somebody reach out to Joe and help this man out. Think about this. How many people have subscribed to Chris Crone? How many people have subscribed to Jerry Norton? How many people have subscribed to Max Maxwell? Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people are trying to do wholesale. If you're doing astro flipping or creative finance, you're going to come in with a very unique advantage to be able to help these people improve their business. That is why Sub2 exists. That's why astro flipping exists, is to amplify people like Joe and for us to work in a way that's non-competitive, but more of a collaborative thing. Where else can a wholesaler come in and go, I have leads I need help with. Can somebody please reach out and help me with it? Only on freaking Wholesale Hotline. That's dope.
Pace, do we have a new home where we want people to start watching Wholesale Hotline from?
I think we're trying to get people to go over to the new YouTube channel that we're creating on Wholesale. It's going to be youtube.com/Wholesale Hotline. And we're going to start streaming from there either next week or the week after. I'm not quite entirely sure. Maybe Kelly she sent me this. Oh yeah. Here Kelly says, gentle reminder, if y'all haven't pushed the new YouTube link above. So hold on, let me push this. This is Kelly Hanno being awesome at her job, by the way.
Yes.
How
sir.
can you not freaking love this woman? She's awesome. Okay, so guys, going forward, we're going to start streaming from Wholesale Hotline so that we can all collectively get together. We've got 500 plus people watching right now between a couple of lives. Okay. And so we want to make sure that we get everybody kind of together so we can all collaborate and work with each other. All right. Jamil, this is such a great question for you. I kind of foresee Emily making this into a YouTube video, because this is one of the greatest questions anybody could ask Jamil Damji.
I love this. Daniel Radcliffe asked, would you recommend doing a few deals before reaching out to real estate agents? And I think absolutely not. I think you can start having conversations with agents. You can start having conversations with wholesalers. I think having conversations about real estate is where you need to begin. Just pick up the phone and start talking to people. Truly. Now, here's the beauty. If you are asking agents to bring you opportunities and you actually get an address, that is incredible, because the next thing that you would do is be forced into squatting up with somebody from the Escrow community or Sub-2 community to actually do that deal. So my suggestion is not wait. Do not wait. Do not sit on your hands any longer. Your future and your destiny await. All you need to do is pick up the phone, start dialing, talking to people, either motivated sellers or the people who are talking to motivated sellers all day long. And that would be real estate agents.
I'm telling you, going back to the very beginning of the show, the question of what are the 3 easiest ways to get my first deal or any subsequent deal after that is the same 3. Driving for deals, because I'm driving from my house to my office, to to the gas station. I see ugly houses, calling those people. 2, working with real estate agents. And 3, utilizing creative finance. Guys, it doesn't matter if it's your first deal. It doesn't matter if it's your 100th deal. If you drop me, Jamil, or Brent anywhere in the country, butt naked, and you gave us 1 hour to get a deal done, I can guarantee you we would be utilizing one of those 3 methods.
100%.
100 freaking %. Okay. So guys, if you guys have creative finance questions, let me give you guys a little hack. Okay. If you have creative finance questions, come to Wholesale. Wholesale Hotline's great for wholesale. And I don't mind talking about creative finance regarding wholesaling a Sub-2 deal or wholesaling a seller finance deal or whatever else. But I answer creative finance questions on my YouTube channel every Sunday night at 7 p.m. And I have been doing that for over 2.5 years. Every single Sunday night, 7 p.m. Sunday Service is the name of that podcast. And it's live. And it's just me. Sometimes my partner, Cody, comes and barges in. But it's just me, and I talk nothing but creative finance. I don't really talk about wholesale there. I talk about creative finance. Christian says, is it possible to sub to a 100-unit building? Yes, I'm currently working on a 200-unit deal right now where I'm getting – the answer is yes. I'm not going to answer it right now. The answer is yes. Come to Sunday service where I break these things down, okay? Jamil, where can people find you this week?
I am coming back to Arizona tomorrow, and I'll be back in the saddle. You'll find me on Straight Outta Compton on Sundays, as well as here every Monday. And if you are in Escrow, you will see me every Tuesday and Sunday on our calls. But everybody else, we love you. Come hang out on our YouTube channels, hang out at our social media and our IGs, and squad up, guys. Just get out there, take action. It's Wholesale Hotline 97. And I can tell you one thing, Pace. I saw a lot of people who were here for the first time in the chat.
Yeah, a lot of people.
For the first time. And so if this is your first ever exposure to Wholesale Hotline and wholesale as a business opportunity, here is what I have to tell you. This can change your life. One call, one relationship, one deal can change your life 1,000%. Do not let fear, do not let inaction, do not let having access to limited information stop you. Okay? Pace's YouTube channel is full of everything you need to do your first deal. My YouTube channel is full of everything you need to do your first deal. Brent Daniels' YouTube channel is full of everything you need to do your first deal. Get out there, take action. We've done this 97 weeks for you to change your life. Make it happen. We love you.
I love you guys. One thing for me is if you guys, here's what I'm gonna do this week. For people who are YouTube subscribers of me, I'm gonna do 5 30-minute one-on-ones this week for YouTube subscribers, okay? So what I want you to do is I want you guys to go to my Instagram, DM me, and I will actually link up with you with my personal email, and I will coordinate with you, and we'll do a 30-minute one-on-one. I prefer this week to talk about private money lending because there's so many people that are just doing private lending wrong. And I kind of want to do a whole series on my YouTube channel, but I'm not going to stop you guys from asking whatever question you want. So please reach out to me on Instagram. I will connect with you. The first 5 people, I will do a one-on-one for 30 minutes on, but don't reach out to me if you don't want me, if you want me to keep it private, because I'm going to put it on my YouTube channel so other people can learn. So guys, thank you so much. Brent Daniels, Christian says, where's Brent? Brent is lifting right now. Okay. No, he's at a family event. We all have one night a year that we can all ask each other, hey, I'm out. And Brent waited until this, he went all year long. Jamil and I have done our other one. And so we're filling in for TTP tonight. Guys, we love you. We will see you next week. It will be a new year. So we will see you. We're going to be starting from the basics of wholesale again. We're going to be doing the same thing we did last year. We talk a lot more basics of wholesale. So if tonight is your first episode, just wait until next episode. We're going to be talking about the basics of wholesaling. How do I get started? What is the first thing I should do to go out and get my first deal? And we will see you guys next week. Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say that thing.
Why?
I don't know. I
Okay.
forgot.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Cool. I think we should